Today we're driving the Hummer EV 3X SUV and we're taking it off-road. As you can see, we are at Hollyoaks ORV Park. Let's walk you around this real quick and then we'll go for a drive on some of the trails here. A lot of off-road capability. Some of you may remember we did test this on the street a few months ago, earlier this spring, and it was fantastic. It was a blast to drive on the road, but this is really where you show off the Hummer's chops and its capabilities. A lot of development on this SUV was actually done here at Hollyoaks because this is just right outside Metro Detroit. This has the extreme off-road package. So we've got lots of skid plating, 35-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT tires. These are 305/70 R18s, specifically designed and developed for the Hummer to accept its weight, and a really nice wide contact patch there too. You can see this has already been off-roaded. I'm doing this intro at the end of the day today after we've done a whole lot of stuff in this. Super impressed with the capability here. It is just amazing what this Hummer EV can do off-road. I'm really excited to show you some of this footage. We've got some exterior angles that are very cool. Some driving that I didn't do that was captured outside the vehicle that you guys will see, something we don't usually include in a lot of our videos, but yeah, you guys are gonna enjoy this. This is a fun one. A lot of capability here and just all done in complete silence because this is an EV. It's a really serene, kind of connected experience driving this off-road because you can just hear everything that's going on, from the tires to the sounds around you. It's pretty neat, pretty unique. You know, as long as you're not getting into mud and you don't have an opportunity to sink in this thing because it's so heavy, everywhere else it's just gonna absolutely dominate. It puts its power down so well. It weighs a lot, around 9,500 pounds, but partially that weight is pressing that tire into the ground and giving you contact. So apparently it's also a monster out in the Silver Lake sand dunes. So maybe at some point we'll be able to take one of these out there as well. But until then, enjoy the footage that we got today. This should be a good time. Most of it is POV, but again, we do have some footage outside the vehicle too. Let's hop in and we'll go for a drive. So some brief specs on this Hummer EV. 350 miles of electric range, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds with watts to freedom mode. You can crab walk, that's standard on 2X and 3X trims. It has 830 horsepower and allegedly 11,500 pound-feet of torque. Bunch of different camera views, up to, I believe, 17 with ultra vision, and that includes underbody cameras as well. The SUV does have a shorter wheelbase, 126.6 inches. You've got an extract mode too, which lifts approximately 6 additional inches for rock crawling, though that is at the top of the suspension travel, so there's no rebound basically. All right, so we've got our rear diff locked. We are in off-road mode. Got the cameras engaged here. And we are just climbing up here with ease. 35-inch tires, lots of ground clearance, 4-wheel steer. You guys know the deal. Hollyoaks is thankfully wide enough to accommodate these Hummer EVs without any issues. Lots of nice trails here. You can see the lead vehicle doing its thing with rear steer. Look how agile that is. That is just awesome. Such a tight turn radius here. That's a great shot of that. Look at this descent. I love it. And of course we have lots of cameras too, showing us what's ahead of us, what's next to us. Pretty much just one pedal driving today. Don't need to go into a low gear. We can go into L mode down here and that'll slow our speeds down a little bit with some on-off throttle action, but it's electric. We've got lots of torque, lots of horsepower, 800 horsepower in this EV SUV. So we have all the kit to play with. Curb weight on these, a little bit under 10,000 pounds, around 9,500 or so, depending on equipment. It is not light, but as long as you're not trying to play around in the mud, should get you through just about anything.
Pause here for a minute, kind of bunch us back up at the base of this hill here.
Still got our rear diff locked. Let's see what it takes to get up here. Last week we were just out here in the Nissan Rogue Rock Creek, and we did some of the park, but today I think we'll be seeing a lot more of this park. Oh yeah, we're just gonna be straddling this. That's pretty easy. Cool. No drama. Makes it up without a hiccup. All right, watch that cone. Got our cameras here to help us navigate our way through over this crest. Staying into the throttle here and up and over. Beautiful. That was a pretty steep climb, and this handled it no problem. Seat's vibrating, telling me I'm near objects. A little bit of pinstriping here around this corner. It's okay.
Next little section is a little tight, kind of showing off the rear steer, but also using nature's microfiber to help.
That's right. Nature's microfiber. I like that. Yeah, with the vehicle this wide, a little bit of that is a given. It's okay, it just means you've been driving it properly. Approaching Mount Magna, which is inspired by the sandstones out in Moab. Pretty impressive stuff. A lot of grip.
Change to drive mode terrain. You will have to hit the accept button, otherwise it'll kick you back into normal mode.
Accept that. Cool. All right, we're good. And you do have a front diff locker here as well.
Find these moguls and follow kind of the path of mud up the rock here. And once we get up to the top, we're going to hook a right, and we're going to just loop back down. You'll see where I'm coming back down the face.
Probably just leave the rear diff locked here for today's climb, because we do have a pretty sharp right-hander right after this. And if that front diff doesn't unlock at the top of the hill, then we can't steer. So we're going to hit the same line that he's taken up there, which is a pretty aggressive line. Looks good. Taking us through some of that. Nice. Got to maintain speed. There we go. Stay into it, especially through some of these deeper sections. Good. Nice. Beautiful. And we'll take a hard right here. Looking over our crest there, using four-wheel steer to our advantage. And all the way down, bit of a dip here. There we go. Easy. Look at that. This just shrinks everything. Super fun. We were out here recently in the Rivian R1S, and this is kind of a neat comparison to that. A lot of capability here. Of course, the R1S is a little bit smaller, a little bit more placeable on tighter trails. But this really does have the running gear to get us through without any drama. The R1S we had was only a dual motor instead of the quad motor. And this has a bit more off-road chops, a bit more running gear. Probably the only disadvantage is just the weight penalty, but we get 35-inch tires here instead of 34s. The rear steer is awesome. Does terrain mode give us more aggressive one-pedal driving?
Yes, it does. It's actually, in that case, applying the brakes, kind of fighting, if you will, the accel pedal, and that is really to kind of mimic two-foot driving, but being able to do it with just your right foot.
Sweet. That's what I thought. Cool. That's
what allows really the very fine modulation of all the torque that you have at low speed.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I felt that on the downhill coming out of Mount Magna. It felt like it was braking a lot more than it was in off-road mode. So that's kind of nice to have. You have terrain mode for those tighter, technical, more steep sections up and down. All right, we're back. We're gonna play around a little bit more at Hollyoaks here, and I'm with Eddie X.
Hello.
What's up, man? YouTubeception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Camera. I love that color. What do you think of that light blue?
I mean, it looks fantastic, all dirty.
Yes,
right?
that's also true.
Yeah. It was just so cool following that around on the course, watching the rear steer do its thing.
That's my favorite aspect of the Hummers. It's the power is fun, the size, everything. Rear steer is phenomenal.
It's such an aggressive angle, and it makes this so maneuverable.
And because the tires are so massive, you can really see it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really easy to visualize how much the rear wheels are turning.
Well, if you tilt your mirrors down, you just watch the wheels do their thing. It's the only missed opportunity, I feel like, here with the Hummer is they should have made it hum more.
It makes other ethereal noises.
It does,
right?
yeah. It is ethereal. That's exactly the word. All right, so this is kind of a course that we're going to take at speed here to just get a taste for the suspension over bumps. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think they could have made it bigger.
Yeah, that's right.
You say the one
it's too kind of small, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's like one of those McMansions that just should have made it bigger.
That's the spot right there where we want to be on the brake.
Yep.
We don't want to get air in the
Get into
Hummer.
that ramp.
Sounds good.
What do you think would happen if you tried to launch a Hummer like a TRX or a Raptor?
I mean, I'm sure it'd come down pretty hard, but it'd probably be okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like the weight is just too much.
It's pretty heavy.
It would just
Yeah.
just never come back.
Really gotten pushed back and become much more vertical.
This is fun here. Nice little.
The banking.
Yep.
Oh, you're low, by the way, too.
Oh yeah, does that make a difference?
Yeah, it ups the I think the regen braking.
Okay. Actually, I kind of like that. Yeah. We'll leave that in low. Yeah, I mean this would be insane in a side by side. There we go.
I should have got that on video.
Oh boy, that big bump. Yeah, it's just crazy how maneuverable it is. I mean, it kind of shrinks the perceived size.
The battery pack is essentially the weight of your Civic.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much is.
You can combine multiple cars and it's still the same curb weight.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like 4,000 pounds heavier than my Raptor, my Ranger Raptor.
Yeah. So yeah, your Ranger Raptor plus the Civic in the bed. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
It's one Hummer.
Yeah, that's cool. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, that is wild.
You don't need trail turn assist when you just have crazy four-wheel steer. Great. Yeah, I'm just in off-road mode.
Yeah, off-road mode's going to give you allow a little more slip and a little more yaw.
Cool. I've got traction off. Throw the camera forward camera on. Yeah.
So with traction off, you're going to get even more slip and more yaw.
Cool.
Yeah. So you just build up to it.
Yeah, sounds good. And then I've been putting this in low for a little bit more regen.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. These cameras are awesome. Yeah.
This actually is really representative too of where the outer sidewall of the tire is. So
yeah. So
when you're on a tight trail,
is that the actual sidewall? Or is that like a couple inches out?
It's maybe an inch.
Okay, cool. All right, that's great.
Close.
So you can really accurately pick your lines then.
Yes, it's very
Sweet.
close.
Where did everyone stage?
They wanted to be by the water.
Okay. All right. That's a good
They go
spot.
back into the water so they can get the splash.
All right. Yeah, I mean, suspension feels good. It soaks it up.
Yeah, tons of travel.
Yeah. Are there different suspension modes for ride quality? Does the truck kind of figure itself out with damping and?
Off-road mode is really for this kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, terrain mode is different. Normal mode's different. Tow haul mode's different. They all are tailored for those kind of scenarios.
Okay. It seems like terrain is tailored a little bit more for lower speed crawling.
It is, for sure. So we take some damping out to allow the suspension to breathe a little bit more at low speed with better articulation. happen here. We ramp up the damping, especially in these kind of speeds. If you think about like doing driving, right? You want to do a hill climb, but you got a bunch of whoops down to the base. That usually limits how much speed you can carry climbing the hills, and
Sure.
so by adding a little more damping through there, we can actually carry more speed and then just shoot right up the hills.
Okay, cool. Is there anything going on with sway bars? Are those static?
They are static. It's only front though.
Okay,
In the off, if you get the off-road pack, we delete the rear stat bar.
nice, okay. Yeah, it's just bulldozing over all of this. It feels great. I mean, it's so stable side to side because of the width.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between that and the low center of gravity and the adaptive ride and the rear steer, all of that combines for a really dynamic driving experience that makes it drive smaller than it is.
Yeah, this is crazy. Are there any situations out here that would warrant the use of crab walking? I mean, that's just kind of a tool that you use occasionally here and there.
Yeah, we have used it out here. It's more or less when, let's say, like here in particular, you've got a lot of drainage on trails, right? So over time, they get washed out. The one hill climb we had with the big trench kind of in the middle, if you get a tire or two tires sucked down into a trench, this is where terrain mode is kind of nice, because what we've seen in the past, right, with a normal vehicle, you get, let's say your tires in a trench and you steer at the wheel and your fronts are trying to grab, but the vehicle just keeps falling into the trench. In this case, you turn all four tires up and out of that trench,
And then you can, that makes a lot of sense.
effectively
Nice.
double the tractive capability to try and climb out.
That's
So
right.
that is a scenario where it can help. And then any time where you want to maneuver the rear of the vehicle in a particular way relative to the front, sometimes that's going to be normal mode, so like out of phase at low speed. Sometimes it's in phase, so it just depends on how is the vehicle moved around when you're on the trail. You know, a lot of times, especially steep side slopes or grades, the vehicle's going to be bouncing around and might position itself in a place on the trail that you didn't want it to.
Yeah.
Now you have the flexibility from the driver's seat to move the rear however you want relative to the front.
Yep.
So if you got a big obstacle on the right, and instead of curving around and catching it in the rear, grab walk that thing, you just turn all four tires away from it and get out of there. So.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, because I just played around with it in a parking lot. I'm like, this is awesome, but this would also be really useful in, like, you know, off-road scenarios.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. It saved us a bunch of times on the trail. We call it a cheat code, just like extract mode.
Sure.
And you can do both together if you want. And we have done that in the past to get out of sticky situations.
It's a really useful tool. If you know how to use it and you know what situations warrant it, that's so awesome to have.
Yep.
It's really unique. Yeah.
I actually occasionally use it for trailering too when I'm in sticky situations.
Oh,
for
yeah.
trailering. I can maneuver a trailer where I need to that I never have been able to.
There was a guy in my neighborhood who recently bought a Hummer EV SUV, and he was just crab walking down the street. It was like the first day he bought it, still had the plate on it. You know?
That's funny. I don't blame him.
But then he realized, like, he got to an intersection, you can't turn around a 90 degree with it. You just got to turn it off.
Yeah.
But I was like, I did that too.
Have you felt the rear steer in terrain mode? Have you spent a lot of time in terrain?
No, I haven't. So this is actually the first time I've been off road with the new Hummer.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to go somewhere else, play with it, play with that a little bit too.
Why don't we can just do it right here
Sure.
real quick.
Why not?
We already accepted it, I think, before. So if you just keep your hands at kind of like what we do with Crabwalk, right? Just give it like a 180 or less steering, and just do it back and forth, and you'll kind of feel.
Oh yeah, so that's really.
The rear actually steers faster than the front.
Sure, yeah, there's a lot going on. It's mostly steering from the rear.
Yeah, we kind of joke like it's forklift mode, but but it's actually like a 1.2 to 1 ratio.
Okay.
Rear to front, and what that allows is, especially on really tight terrain, it really just allows that rear to pivot around things effortlessly. So all just little small steering inputs gets you through some pretty tight stuff.
Yeah, like we can just adjust.
But it
Yeah, that's neat.
that's where like off-road mode is a 0.6 to 1 ratio. Terrain mode, we double it. It's a 1.2.
Wow. Okay.
Up
Yeah.
to a speed, right? We do phase it out, of course,
Sure.
at speed, but
Yeah, it's noticeably
Isn't it funny?
different. Yeah, that's freaky. That's really
it's
cool.
even more so in the rear seat.
Sure. Yep.
So what this mode does is actually, on top of the regen, we grab friction brakes as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It
pretty
gives you
strong.
like a really strong decel.
Yep.
The intention behind that is, I mentioned on the radio before, like it allows you to kind of mimic 2-foot driving, but
Sure.
with just your right foot.
Yeah, I noticed going down Mount Magna over that one
Yep.
step, the last step, I was able to basically just one pedal drive it, whereas before I had to dip into the brake with my
Yes.
left foot. So, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and the intent there is that you'd be able to have all 4 tires kind of cresting the backside of hills or rocks or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and you come off the throttle and it'll hold you right there,
That's cool.
just like if you were 2-foot.
Yep.
But when you think about like having to manage 1,200 foot-pounds of torque,
Nice.
we joke that this thing's a laugh factory. It just creates
Oh,
laughs.
it's hilarious. It's so fun. Did you do any testing at the dunes, Silver Lake?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we really tuned off-road mode.
Okay,
That
cool.
low speed kind of whoop stuff,
How does it do in the sand?
amazing.
Really?
It's
not.
incredible.
It's not too heavy. Air down.
Nope.
It's okay.
No, air down. It's unlike any ice vehicle you've ever driven.
Wow. Okay.
It's an absolute riot.
We'll have to take Homer out to the dunes someday.
It was
That's awesome.
It was shocking the first time we were out there. Just the instant torque. So if you like test hill, right, like any other vehicle, you're usually having to hold a gear and you got it pinned
Mm-hmm.
all the way up until the very end. This thing, halfway up, you're letting off throttle because you're carrying so much speed.
Oh yeah, there's so much power here.
It's
Yep.
it's a lot. It's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
Definitely got to air down, but
For sure, yeah.
Once you do,
Yep.
it is a riot.
Just a wave of torque.
Yeah.
Sweet. Easy.
Yeah, definitely noticeable though.
You can feel it. Yeah. Feel it in your gut as you're climbing.
Any specific tuning to these Duratracks for the Hummer? Are they kind of a
They are built for the Hummer.
Built for the Hummer,
From,
okay.
From day one, we
Nice.
we worked with them for this and the all-terrain tire on the on-road version. Bump here.
Yep.
Hit the sliders.
Sliders have no problem carrying the weight of this.
Are the sliders lower than the pack?
Slightly, yeah. Yeah, but they're designed to take the weight of the vehicle. We have a curb drop test that we do that, and the skid plates as well. You gotta be able to stand the full mass
And-
that could apply to them.
These sliders are part of the like off-road package.
They are.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. terrain. It really transforms the vehicle into kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. The terrain mode, very low speed, kind of all that stuff we were just doing there. But then the off-road mode, especially with the button press, traction is higher speed, kind of think desert running type stuff,
Right.
sand dunes. It's really great there. What it really does, it changes the steering, the damping, even the motor noise. So in terrain mode at low speed, we almost turn off the motor noise. We have to keep some there, but we make it as quiet as possible because off-roading in an EV is really cool when it's silent and you can really, hear the wind through the trees and hear what's going on underneath the tires. And on development trips, we've snuck up on animals before, and you really feel connected with the environment. So
That's cool.
we actually turn the sound down a lot.
That's like the pedestrian sound,
So the pedestrian ones are still federally required,
even off-road.
even off-road.
Okay.
Yeah. But the interior sound we quiet
Right.
down.
Cool.
But then in off-road mode, like you can hear it more right now. We crank it up because at higher speeds, again, kind of think desert running. We're intentionally trying to help connect what your right foot is doing with what you're hearing and what you're feeling in the seat. That acceleration, it becomes another tool for you when you're trying to navigate tough terrain at high speed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully that gave you a taste of what it's like to off-road the Hummer EV SUV. Really, really impressed with the capability here. This thing it does stuff that I didn't think was possible from this big and this heavy of an SUV. The electrification only enhances the capability here. The torque is amazing. The power is amazing. The calibration that they've done with the locking differentials and the air suspension and the rear steer system, it really is a great use of this tech and a great use of the capabilities here. The hardware and the software marry up so well, and there's just a lot that can be done with this. This has got to be one of the most capable off-road vehicles for around 100 grand. It's just amazing. I'm blown away by what this has been able to do. We've had a lot of vehicles out to Hollyoaks doing a lot of different things, and really, really impressed with what this was able to accomplish today. And with such ease, it just kind of shrugged everything off. So anyway, that's gonna be a wrap for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I gotta return this so they can ship it back out somewhere else and some other people can enjoy it. But what a fun time. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. And we'll do one more turn around here. It's always a bit of a challenging section. Nothing does it like the Hummer.